Welcome back everyone to another Redstone video of sorts, and today I'm gonna be showing you guys how to create your very own Redstone testing world. So, I don't know if you guys know this, but I love Redstone. I have been into Redstone for a while now, and then this was my Redstone testing world. It is not, so it's sort of weird. I downloaded a Redstone testing world from the internet, which you may or may not probably shouldn't do, but I did it because I wanted to get some like basic redstone components and all that stuff, and I didn't really feel like making it myself. And then of course, and I wanted to check out some of the designs, but then I got really into redstone because of it, and I just started making a bunch of stuff. So unfortunately, like all good things, they have to come to an end, especially when sometimes you do the most ridiculous things like me. And of course, I made the biggest error I could possibly make, and I went to 1.8.9, my clans with Optifine and Forge, right? Which is what I use for clans in Mineplex and Hypixel. And I accidentally went on the Redstone testing world with that. And it destroyed almost all of my redstone, and things just got really glitchy. It's awful. You guys probably couldn't tell from that, but almost all the redstone's like destroyed. The mechanics don't work. There's some crazy things going on. It's just awful. So I need a new Redstone Creations world, right? So in fact, we're just gonna take this, and I am just gonna delete it. All right, bye, goodbye. Don't want that anymore. And I'm gonna make a new Redstone testing world. So I'll show you guys. So if you guys have a previous Redstone testing world and you just want to know how to sort of start it up again, if you want to make it, like for example, if you just started a Redstone testing world, you want to know what components to add, I'll talk about that later. But if you want to make a new Redstone testing world, either regardless of whether you've had an old one or if this is your first one, this is what you do. Name it whatever you want. I'm just going to name mine Redstone. I'll name it my Redstone testing world. Okay, Redstone testing world. And then game mode to creative, obviously. You want cheats on, bonus chest off, generate structures on or off, doesn't really matter. World type for me is what you're going to have to do. So if you click it, so it should say default. You click it once, it says super flat, then go down and hit customize, and then go down and hit preset. All right. So now you're here. So instead of don't touch anything up here. But first, what you want to do is you want to scroll down to where it says Redstone Ready, and then press use preset. Okay. Then you press done, and then you don't need to see. Just press done over here, and you should be ready. And then press create new world. And so now the world will generate. And so basically, what this means is there's sandstone everywhere in every single direction. And yeah, it's like the perfect place for a Redstone testing world. Except you got one problem. There's nothing in it. But before we get onto that, there's some things that I like to do before we get started, and I'll show you this. You can do them whether you want it or not. I will include the commands in the description, so don't worry about that. So first command is /game_rule. And then press do. Like just type in do and then press tab. It should start with do daylight cycle and then space and false. And so basically what that does is it keeps the sun. It doesn't move the sun anymore. And then we can just do time set, like if you want the sun to be a little bit higher in the sky, you can do that as well. Alright, but do daylight cycle meaning it will never turn to night. And also, by that same logic, do /game_rule do, except this time press do and W, and then press tab, and then space, and then false. So it'll never rain, it'll never do any of that nonsense. Okay. And then also do game rule, do mob spawning, wherever that is, and hit false on that. That one is a bit tricky because it depends on what redstone creations you intend to make. If you intend to make like a mob spawner, then I probably wouldn't do that one. That one's only for me if you don't intend to do anything mob related for a while. You can always change that setting later. I just do it just in case if you turn to night, you won't have a bunch of random mobs everywhere, which can mess up your redstone and things like that. Okay, then, or what you can just do is just set it to peaceful mode. Either one works, but I like to have normal so I know where the like if TNT's gonna do damage and stuff like that. Alright, so now you should have all the game rules down. If you don't want any of those, then that's perfectly fine as well. You're good to go. So now you have a very empty redstone world. So because of 1.12, what I would suggest is you hit this redstone tab right here. I don't know why I was clicking all this stuff. Hit the redstone tab. I would suggest you grab yourself redstone, put that there, redstone repeater, redstone comparators. Gonna need those. You want to grab your pistons, your sticky pistons. I love hoppers, so I use a lot of those. So I go hopper, levers maybe for your input devices. This is really based on what you guys want. Maybe observer blocks, because if you use observers a lot. Let's see, what else? I love TNT. It's not really a redstone component, but I use it all the time. So then this is going to be that. And then how do I do this? I'm very bad at this. There we go, there we go. So you click over here, and then press save to C+1. Alright guys, so right now I feel like I'm having some issues because, so normally what I was trying to tell you guys was that you can save your toolbars here, but mine is not working, and I don't know why that is. Huh. It usually works, so I don't know why it's decided to like completely fail me. But, okay. I guess it doesn't really matter, but basically what you do is you save your toolbar, and that way you always have your redstone supplies ready whenever you want them, and you can just load your toolbar with X+1. Cool. That works, and that's all good and all. Okay. So now what you want to do is you want to, well, for me, I like to get my block of choice, which for me is an iron block. It's just a nice block. In general, I prefer anything light colored, so if you want to use, actually don't use sandstone because that's the color of the ground. But I would suggest like white concrete's also a good option, or any sort of type of wool if you like that. If you want to do wool, for me, I don't really like wool, even though there's sometimes helpful for tutorials. It kind of annoys me. I just hate the look of wool. That I would do concrete, but just not wool. Sorry, that's just my personal opinion. But then what you want to do is you want to grab some of your redstone supplies and stuff, right? And you want to start building the basics. So you want to just get a bunch of circuits together, and yeah, and then that'll be your start. I'm not going to build them all right here, but you should definitely check out my video, Redstone for Dummies Part 3. It will show you every single circuit that you should basically put here. And the reason you want all these circuits is just so that way you sort of have the building blocks in place, so you can just sort of get to going without having to Google like any of the circuits. If you memorize all the circuits, that's good and all, but see, you want to make sure you don't want to have any technical difficulties. It's just nice to build it off. Also, it's nice because it also fills up some of your world, so you feel like you're doing something. Then what I would like to say is to take up a project. It doesn't necessarily have to be anything important. It could be something very, very simple, like crazy simple, like what I'm about to do, which is just your your average Joe piston door. And I've messed up your average Joe piston door. Alright guys, and so here's your just average Joe piston door. Very simple project, but you gotta start with the basics, and I mean, the redstone behind this thing is so simple. Anyone can do it. Well, let's just say you have yourself a doorway. It can be flush with the wall, but it's not really usually flush with the wall, and you sort of just have your door, and you go through, and it works just fine. And the best part about this is you can just do that. Very simple. So after you've worked on your first project, then of course you'll start going to more projects, and I'd suggest if you want to plan out what you're going to be doing, let's say if you play a redstone world, like a multiplayer server, or if you just want to go into a survival world and you want to build, like, let's say an automatic TNT cannon, well then you want to learn how to make an automatic TNT cannon. You can either figure it out yourself in the Redstone Creations world, or look up a tutorial for it, and yeah, and then you can just build it here, and then this is perfect, and you're all set and ready. You have your first project, you have all your circuits in order. Now you just gotta start building. Whenever you want to build something, you just go for it. So I will say, guys, one thing to make sure of is that if you are going to make like buildings and stuff, I would recommend giving sorry, this is a bit confusing, but I'm really terrible at wording it, but For example, whenever I make a project, I would suggest having it in a way so you understand where everything's going. So it's in a grid. So it's not like one project here, then you have one project over here, and then you go all the way over there, put one project. Then no. Like you want to have like make it sort of a grid system, or an easy identifiable way. Like make one section for piston doors, then the next section for like hopper areas, hopper things. What am I saying? And then one area for farms, right? Things like that. And it'll make things a lot easier for you. Trust me, if you have a big Redstone Creations world like my first one, this is going to be my third Redstone Creations world, by the way, guys, but my first one was insanely ginormous, and it was comprised of mostly buildings, to be honest, and not redstone, but it got really hectic. I couldn't find where anything was. So you want to make sure that doesn't happen. And so, yeah, you make sure you organize things. And so yeah, if you followed all these steps, hopefully you're in a great position to start Redstone Testing World. And if you want to learn about a sugarcane farm, a redstone torch key circuit thing, or just a bunch of other circuits, I would highly suggest checking out my redstone tutorial videos and Redstone for Dummies Part 1, 2, and 3 for more info on redstone. And if you guys need a project to start on, if you can't figure out what to do, I think if you I love TNT cans, I would suggest you start with one of those. Those are really fun. Or if you're not really into that sort of TNT can thing, and you just want more of a simple redstone, I'd go for like a super cool, super fast, awesome roller coaster with maybe a loop-de-loop, because that could give you a challenge, but also pretty fun. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit different than most of my other redstone videos, but I hope you guys liked it. I wanted to make a Redstone Creations world, and now I have one, and hopefully you guys have one as well. As always, please leave a like and subscribe for more videos, and Dado's out. Bye.